One statement from a rival manager, one label that stuck to Wrexham like glue, and suddenly everyone in the Championship knows exactly what they're up against when they face the Red Dragons. Alright Wrexham fans, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, smash that subscribe button because we cover the Red Dragons like nobody else. The matches, the momentum, and the stories that define this season. 3 massive stories for you today. First up, we're looking at what happened at Fratton Park in midweek. A goalless draw against Portsmouth that extended Wrexham's unbeaten run, but also raised some questions about the attack. Then we've got James McElhenney opening up about his teammates' reactions to his poppy stance and why he wishes the whole issue would just disappear. But stick around for story number 3, because this is the big one. Wrexham are hosting Charlton Athletic on Saturday, and the pundits are calling Charlton a team everyone dreads playing. This is a proper test, a match that could define whether Wrexham's recent momentum is genuine or just a flash in the pan. You don't want to miss this breakdown. Right, let's start with Wednesday night at Fratton Park. Wrexham versus Portsmouth, 0-0. A point gained, but also 2 points dropped, depending on how you look at it. Wrexham went into this match on the back of that brilliant 3-2 win over Coventry. Remember Kiefer Moore's hat-trick? The confidence was there. 4 matches unbeaten in the Championship. Everything pointing in the right direction. But Portsmouth away on a Wednesday night is never easy. It's a proper old-school ground, Fratton Park. The atmosphere is hostile, the pitch is tight, and John Mousinho had his side set up to be difficult to break down after their horror show against Birmingham the weekend before. And it showed. Wrexham struggled to create clear chances. Only 3 shots on target all match. 7 touches in Portsmouth's box. 7! That's shockingly low for a team with the attacking quality Wrexham have. Phil Packison kept the same starting 11 that beat Coventry. No changes, backing the lads who delivered that massive result. But this time, they couldn't find the breakthrough. Portsmouth had the better chances, to be fair. Josh Murphy was a constant threat down the wing. Arthur Okonkwo in goal had to be sharp to keep them out. But Wrexham did have their moments too. Lewis O'Brien had a great opportunity in the first half, proper chance to score, but Portsmouth's keeper, Joseph Bursick, pulled off a brilliant save. Then, after the hour mark, O'Brien was played through again by Liberato Kakache, one-on-one with the keeper, and you're thinking, this is it, here's the winner. But Bursick denied him again. Kiefer Moore, fresh off his hat-trick, had a header clawed away by Bursick in the first half as well. The big man still looking dangerous, but on this night, the clinical edge just wasn't there. Final whistle, 0-0. Wrexham move up to 14th in the table, still unbeaten in 4, but Parkinson admitted afterwards that it was a hard-earned point and that they couldn't quite get a foothold in the second half. The stats don't lie. Portsmouth had 29 touches in Wrexham's box compared to just 7 for the visitors. That's a massive disparity. And while keeping a clean sheet is always positive, especially away from home, you have to wonder if Wrexham are being too cautious sometimes. They've now created the 5th most big chances in the Championship this season, 32 in total. But they've also missed 20 big chances, the 7th highest in the division. That conversion rate needs to improve if they're going to keep climbing the table. But that's not the only news coming out of Wrexham this week. James McElhenney's been in the headlines again. And look, this is a topic that comes around every single year. And McElhenney himself is absolutely sick of having to explain it. The Wrexham winger sat down with Westlife singer Nicky Byrne for an interview and opened up about his refusal to wear the poppy, something that's followed him throughout his career since his Sunderland days back in 2012. For those who don't know the background, McLean grew up on the Cragan estate in Derry. That estate was home to half of the 13 unarmed civilians who were shot dead by British soldiers on Bloody Sunday in 1972. McLean's stance has always been that he can't wear the poppy because it represents all conflicts the UK has been involved in, including that one. He's received horrific abuse over the years. Death threats. His wife has feared he'd be shot dead on live TV because of the hatred directed at him. It's been brutal. But what's interesting in this new interview is what McLean says about his teammates. He reveals that when he explains his reasoning to them, they're generally very understanding. He said, "A lot of teammates have asked about it over the years, which I appreciate. When you explain it to them, you can see that they're actually taken aback. And they're like, oh right, I understand." They're open to learning. They're open to listening. That's actually quite moving, isn't it? The fact that when people actually listen to his story, they get it. The problem is, as McLean points out, loads of people just don't want to understand. He said, somehow it just keeps coming around. People don't seem to grasp what I'm saying. How many times can you explain yourself? Trust me, there's nothing I would want more than to put it to bed and let it go. You can hear the frustration in his words. This isn't someone who enjoys the controversy. This is someone who wishes people would just respect his position and move on. McLean also talked about how he deals with the abuse he gets at away grounds, and trust me, he gets it every week. He said he uses it as motivation. You can either sink or swim. You can use that as motivation or you can sink under it. So I use it for motivation. There's nothing more satisfying when you win a game and you get to give it back. He's not alone in his stance either. Katie McCabe, who plays for Arsenal Women and the Republic of Ireland, also chose not to wear the poppy this week. And McLean was also in the news recently for admitting that he threw a punch at a Cardiff fan in the players' car park before that Carabao Cup match. He claimed it was self-defense, but it's another example of the hostility he faces. Whatever your views on the poppy debate, you have to respect that McLean has never wavered. He's stuck to his principles despite knowing the abuse it brings. And the fact that his Wrexham teammates take the time to understand his reasoning speaks volumes about the culture Phil Parkinson is building at the club. Now, those were big, but what I'm about to tell you next could define Wrexham's season. This is the test everyone's been waiting for.
Story 3. Saturday afternoon, the racecourse ground, Wrexham versus Charlton Athletic, and the pundits are already calling this one of the toughest tests Wrexham will face all season. Here's why. Charlton Athletic are becoming a team everyone dreads playing. That's not me saying it, that's James Ray, one of the most respected championship analysts out there, and he's absolutely spot on. Let's look at where Charlton are right now. 6th in the table. 6 wins, 5 draws, 3 losses. They're in the playoff positions. They've conceded just 11 goals all season, one of the best defensive records in the entire championship. Before the season started, some people were tipping Charlton for relegation. Seriously, they thought Nathan Jones' side would struggle. But they've completely turned that narrative on its head with an eye-catching start to the campaign. They beat West Brom 1-0 in their last match, thanks to a late Sonny Carey goal. That's 6 wins now. They're solid at the back, difficult to break down, and they'll scrap for every single point, right until the final whistle. For Wrexham, this is massive. They're coming into this match unbeaten in 4. That draw at Portsmouth on Wednesday made it 8 points from the last 12 available. The confidence is growing, the performances are improving, But this is a different level of test. Charlton aren't going to give you space. They're not going to let you play. They're going to be organised, disciplined, and they're going to make you work for every single chance you create. Will Evans-Jones, another top analyst, put it perfectly. The results and performances from Wrexham in recent weeks means their confidence is increasing every week. However, I think they will find it difficult on Saturday. Charlton Athletic have shown they are capable of beating anybody in the second tier. And here's the thing, Wrexham's attacking stats from that Portsmouth match should be ringing alarm bells. 3 shots on target, 7 touches in the opposition box. Against the Charlton defence that's even better organised than Portsmouth's, those numbers aren't going to cut it. Kiefer Moore's still the main threat. 9 goals in all competitions this season. He's been brilliant. But Charlton will know all about him. They'll have watched that Coventry hat-trick. They'll have a plan to deal with his physicality. Nathan Broadhead and Josh Windass both have 4 goals this season. Lewis O'Brien's got 3. The goals are spread around, which is positive. But can they break down a defence that's only conceded 11 times in 14 matches? Here's what nobody's talking about yet. This match could define what kind of season Wrexham are going to have. If they win, they're suddenly looking at the top half of the table. 5 matches unbeaten, momentum building, belief growing, the racecourse rocking. And suddenly, people start taking Wrexham seriously as a team that could genuinely push for something special this season. But if they lose, especially if they lose at home, then all the progress from the last few weeks starts to feel a bit fragile. The doubts creep back in. People start saying Wrexham only beat Coventry because it was a one-off performance, that they're not quite ready for this level yet. That's the stakes. That's why Saturday matters so much. Phil Parkinson will be looking at that Portsmouth performance and knowing his team needs to be better in the final third. 7 touches in the opposition box isn't acceptable for a Wrexham side with this much attacking talent. They need to be braver, more aggressive, more willing to take risks. James Ray's prediction is fascinating. He's calling it a draw. He said, Wrexham have been steadily gaining momentum, but they're in for a real test. CAFC are becoming a team everyone dreads playing. They're tough to beat, stern at the back, and resilient enough to battle for every point. The question becomes whether they can nick a winner. On that one, I'm not so sure. Will Evans-Jones also thinks it'll be a draw. 2-2 is his call. Both analysts see this match as between 2 sides in good form who'll cancel each other out. But here's my take. Wrexham at home are a different animal. The racecourse ground on a Saturday afternoon is one of the most intimidating venues in the Championship when it's rocking. Charlton are good, no question. But can they handle that atmosphere? Can they deal with the pressure of 10,000 Wrexham fans roaring every time the Red Dragons attack? Kiefer Moore thrives in those big moments. Remember what he said after the Coventry hat-trick. We are a team capable of doing great things, even incredible things. That belief is there now. That confidence is growing. And Phil Parkinson's got options. If the starting 11 can't break Charlton down, he's got players on the bench who can change the game. Sam Smith's made 11 Championship appearances this season, all off the bench. He's the kind of impact sub who could nick a late winner. But make no mistake, Charlton Athletic are coming to Wrexham with a game plan. They'll sit deep, stay compact, frustrate the home side and try to nick something on the counter. Nathan Jones is an experienced manager. He knows how to set up a team to be difficult to beat. This is going to be a tactical battle, a test of patience, a match where the first goal could absolutely be crucial. If Wrexham score first, the floodgates might open. But if Charlton go ahead, that could be game over. So there you have it. 3 stories that show exactly where Wrexham are right now. A hard-earned point at Portsmouth that extended the unbeaten run but raised questions about the attack. James McElhenney opening up about his teammates' understanding of his poppy stance and his frustration at having to explain it year after year. And the massive test coming on Saturday against a Charlton side that everyone in the Championship dreads playing. Here's what I think happens. Wrexham win 2-1. Moore gets one, Broadhead or Windass gets the other. Charlton make it difficult, but the racecourse atmosphere tips the balance. 5 matches unbeaten, 15 points from the last possible 18. And suddenly, Wrexham are looking up the table instead of over their shoulders. This is the moment. This is where Wrexham prove they're not just surviving in the Championship, they're competing. From Hollywood to the racecourse, from the National League to taking on playoff contenders, this is the journey. Let me know in the comments what you think. Can Wrexham break down Charlton's defence? What's your score prediction? Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you after the match with all the reaction. Come on, you Reds!